This is Roger Stone for American Sovereign Bullion. Since 2020, the U.S. dollar has lost over 20% of its purchasing power. Meanwhile, gold continues to rise. Call 844-272-2428 or go to asbgold.com now to get your free gold and silver guide and learn how to protect your wealth with physical gold and silver delivered to your door or held in a gold IRA today. So go to asbgold.com now. Don't wait for the markets to drop. That's asbgold.com.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
My friend Victoria Coates. Victoria, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Sid. I'm great. I hope you had a wonderful Passover.
I did. I know it didn't sound like it last segment. I hope I
kind of the island of misfit toys.
Right, there you go. I hope I kept you entertained. I'm so angry about so many people that, you know, have voices. You know, some big political offices like mayor of New York City, some like Candace Owens. She's got 8 million followers. People listen to that podcast in huge numbers, and all she does, like Tucker and Megyn and the rest of these people, is hate on Israel, blame Israel for everything, blame the Zionists, blame Mark Levin, blame Ben Shapiro, blame Sid Rosenberg. These are some very, very sick people, and people around our country actually listen to them, Victoria.
No, it really is extraordinary. And yes, we are a free country and everyone has the right to their opinions, however noxious they may be. But we really are, you know, sort of harboring the sickness inside of us. And it's like watching a train wreck on a daily basis. I mean, you wake up and you're wondering, you know, what horrible Russia apologist is Tucker going to platform today? It really is an extraordinary sort of self-inflicted wound, for want of a better phrase.
It really is. So I had a friend yesterday who voted for Trump all 3 times, contact me and said, you know, I voted for him all 3 times, but we're not winning this war. I don't care what you say on your radio show or who you bring on. I don't care what he says. We're not winning. You know, the markets, very, very volatile up and down when we're talking about oil prices, gas prices, the stock market. People are dying everywhere. Israelis are dying. Iranians are dying. American servicemen are dying. The Strait is still closed. And we got to bomb them more. The only way to really fix this is if Trump keeps bombing them. And now you got Trump saying things like, which I thought was funny. I actually laughed at it. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a bad person. You know, Allah Akbar, whatever the hell he said. Praise be Allah.
Praise be Allah.
Yeah, but there are people that voted for Trump that really don't feel like we are winning this war. If you can tell them, if they're listening now, why we are winning the war, I'd appreciate that.
Well, you know, it actually may seem counterintuitive, but there was a Reuters report this morning that North Korea is distancing itself from Iran, that they didn't send condolences in the eradication of the old supreme leader or congratulations on the appointment of the new supreme leader. They've not put out any statements. And so you've got a card-carrying member of the axis of evil, North Korea, starting to step away from Iran because they stink so much. So what you're seeing here is the fracturing of America's enemies. That is winning. You know, if we get North Korea to the point where they say, whoa, we don't want this to happen to us, maybe the United States would finally take action against North Korea because we have a really strong president who understands who our enemies are. That's victory. That's us. That's the United States projecting power on the world stage. That's President Trump making the world a safer place for the American people. And that's what I think these folks can't quite see, that at relatively small cost to us in terms of you know, the blood and treasure we need to invest, we are defeating an enemy in Iran, but it's much broader. It's not just Iran.
So as far as you're concerned, and I don't disagree, I'm just throwing it out there for the naysayers, we are winning this. Are we winning it in the fashion that Trump says we're winning it, or just a victory?
I would say we're winning it by any conceivable metric. You know, yes, the Iranians managed to shoot down an F-15 on Friday, and that was a big deal. But that gives them a 0.008% strike rate at this point, given the 13,000 plus sorties that we've flown over Iran. So just the math points out that this is a massive victory for the United States and Israel, by the way. The other big winner here is Israel. You look at our feckless European so-called partners and allies in NATO and the kind of joint capabilities we're supposed to have built up with them over the last 80 years. Well, where are those? They're nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, our great and good ally, Israel, is right there in the trenches with us, losing people at home. They're having all of their civilians, as you know better than I, targeted on a daily basis.
Yeah.
People are getting picked off. Not huge numbers because the Iranians aren't terribly good shots, but still. It's a danger to that country. They are losing people right there beside us. Where are the Europeans who are, supposed to be this wonderful partnership, the transatlantic alliance? Nowhere to be found.
No, I know. And listen, you're right. I speak to people in Israel every day. I literally spoke to Alex Trayman at the break while you were on hold. He happens to be the CEO of JNS.org. And you know those guys very well. You spoke with me last year. I'm sure you'll speak again come June. And he said, listen, we are losing people. People have died in Tel Aviv. They've died in Jerusalem, Haifa, and other places around Israel. And they are running in and out of bomb shelters all day, every day, including during this very, very holy Passover holiday. It's been a real pain in the ass, to say the least, for Israelis. But they are thrilled to death, for the most part, in big numbers, that America and Israel is doing this because they believe in the long run the only way they could ever live with peace is if, in fact, Iran is destroyed.
Exactly. The Iranian regime, that they have to go. I mean, we've tried for now 47 years to come to some sort of arrangement with them, and it's just not possible. So, we'll see going forward. One thing I love, one of the reports out of Israel, and I think Alex may actually have been the one who told me about this, is that the Israelis are now raiding all the bomb shelters.
Yeah.
So when you go to a bomb shelter, they're like, oh, well, this was nice. This maybe not so good. And then there's a dating app. So you could say, I'm here, I'm single, come over and talk to me. It's Israel in a nutshell. But no, I mean, you're correct. And one of the things I was writing about last week in the New York Post is that I know President Trump says regime change isn't America's errand, and I agree with that. That's not the point for us of this. And the point is to prevent the Iranian regime from getting a nuclear weapon. But what's baked into all of this is the economic destruction that he's inflicted on the Iranian regime. They can't recover from what's happening. The internet has been out in Iran for almost 900 straight hours. Imagine your kids if the internet went away for 900 hours here in the United States. They'd all melt down. But what's really melting down is the Iranian economy. This has never happened in modern economics, where you just turn off the internet. There's no banking system per se. There's no stock market per se. And so they can't recover from what they've done to themselves over the last month. And I think that's where regime change is going to come from.
Agreed. I want to get back to tomorrow night. Trump has come out and said, it's all over. I'm blowing up the bridges. I'm blowing up all the energy centers. I'm basically blowing up Iran. I'm going to blow up Iran. I'm taking the oil. That's it. Now, I think he's at the point now where extensions don't work. So I'm a little nervous about this 1 p.m. presidential conference in the Oval Office. For me, I'm getting tired of extended deadlines. I just want to see action. One way or the other, either say, hey, we're going home, or B, do what you say you're going to do. Another deadline extension from me would not come off well. So, A, how serious do you think President Trump is about what he wants to do tomorrow night? And B, what do you expect he's going to tell us at 1 o'clock this afternoon?
Well, I think it's the last year and now 3 months to teach us anything, Sid, it's that President Trump is serious, and he means what he says, and he's going to take decisive action. So my guess is that what the situation with the F-15 pilot didn't improve his mood very much.
Right.
I think everyone's thrilled that they got him out, but the fact that the Iranians were hunting him like that and clearly would have done terrible things had they been the ones to capture him, I don't think that makes anybody feel warm and fuzzy about them. So I think you'll see the president lay out a pretty clear case as to why he's going to pick some new target sets. Nobody can say they weren't warned. Nobody can say they weren't given every opportunity to come to the table and make a good deal for the Iranian people to rebuild that country, that they have been given every chance to do that. They have said no. So my guess is that General Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, is setting up target sets that are focused on critical infrastructure that's being used to support the military. Now, in Iran, that's pretty much everything. And the ghouls on MS Now or whatever they're calling it these days, and CNN, oh my gosh, civilian targets. Well, the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, is part of everything in the Iranian economy. They've permeated the whole thing. So those are all legitimate target sets if they are IRGC facilities. So I think you'll see the president, go after these things and really grind that country to a halt.
This is Greg Kelly. Donate now to Toys for Tots, which works year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program. Established in 2008, it has provided over 63 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org.